All right, everyone. Trump derangement syndrome, link in the description, archived, of course, continues in vogue in the legacy media. Particular article from CNN talking about a simple one-off poll, not an aggregate, but a simple poll. We've seen this before, heavily cherry-picked, and probably a push poll as well, saying Donald Trump is unpopular. That despite the fact that his popularity is about 20 points higher than Joe Biden at his lower points. The honeymoon period will end. This is the nature of partisan politics. It's virtually inevitable that Donald Trump will lose support over time. As he enacts more policies, more and more people will have the single issue that they disagree with him upon, which is important to them, and they will disapprove of him. Very, very few presidents have actually risen in approval over time. Joe Biden, for example, starts off with a bang, very quickly exhausts his, political capital, and then settles down into the upper 30s. So when Donald Trump is about 50-50, that's not necessarily a terrible thing because he's already enacted a shit ton of policies anyway, so people have a good gauge of how to actually judge him. There are some people who will never support him because of partisan loyalty. There are certain people who will never support him because of ideological loyalty. He's trying to appeal to the broad mass of independent voters more than anything else, as well as to his core base. And this is what a president generally does. About the only example that I can think of actually in modern history, I mean, well, at this point, semi-modern, um, of a president that actually rose, especially in their second term, Dwight Eisenhower. I don't think any other president has managed to do this, actually. Like Ronald Reagan, he started off fairly well, and it rose during his first term until the mini session, and then in the second term, basically middling and so forth. Herbert Walker dove off a cliff. Barack Obama, his approval remained middling. I have a feeling that that was due to his skin color, not the content of his character, and so on and so on forth. George W. Yeah, look at his approval ratings at the end. Jimmy Carter and some of these other people. Happens over and over. Trump, during his first term, actually enjoyed relatively good approval. He was in the mid 40s, as opposed to Biden, again, who sunk down into the upper to mid 30s at several times. It was relatively stable until the lockdown period, and then that didn't really help his approval rating, now did it? Second term, he's starting out ahead of where he was before and doing fairly well. It's a transformative presidency. So this is not a caretaker presidency like Joe Biden's was, where basically things remain the same, all fucked up, and behind closed doors, you're smoking cigars and making the deals over gin and stuff like that. This is an active presidency, so a real one. We didn't really have a president for 4 years there under Joe Biden. He was a caretaker, a steward, nothing more. He's going to be labeled an asterisk even by the liberals. The funny part is, when I started talking about it being the asterisk administration, because of course, the obvious. It's a YouTube video. We can't say too much. Oh God, we're not allowed free expression anymore. You know the obvious. When I labeled it the asterisk administration, now it's being treated that way even by people that liked the administration and its policies because they're like, shit, he clearly fried out during that debate, number one, and had to literally step down, allowing a non-incumbent to run. He's clearly fried out of his gourd. And then, oh shit, yeah, people don't approve of the presidency. He disappears. We've tried to bandwagon for him, for several years, but we're not capable of doing it anymore. So the liberals, because the administration lost to Trump, they lost to the retarded orange Nazi. They don't even want to talk about him. When's the last time you heard much about Joe Biden? He's sundown to the point where they've trotted him off to pasture. It's actually kind of funny. A little bit sad, a little bit funny. The two things can coincide sometimes. They don't even want to talk about him. Trump derangement syndrome, meanwhile, is still very much in vogue. and it will be for years to come. Even when Trump leaves his second term, I'm sure, prediction, and this is a no-brainer. Towards the end of this second term, assuming he's still there, which I presume he will be, because hopefully he's hired private security at this point. They're going to start talking about, oh, well, they're going to put clickbait articles out. Oh, will Donald Trump actually leave office? Maybe he'll install himself as a dictator. We must safeguard us authoritarians. We need to take more measures to make sure that he leaves and form an army or something like that. My God. Will he govern the country vicariously through J.D. Vance? Oh shit. It'll be a dynastic dictatorship. They're gonna make articles like that. They just won't leave the man alone. They won't even leave J.D. Vance alone. They won't even let him go fucking skiing with his kids. So, yeah, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall. It's not an out there prediction, I suppose. Um, the legacy media has been complicit with the uniparty in crucifying a man even when he does the right thing. They won't even give him credit or even sometimes cover it when he does something that's objectively right, like the Abraham Accords, or trying to get us out of the Afghan war, which was fucked up by Joe Biden, but on paper the idea was fundamentally good and pretty much everyone agreed with it. This has happened over and goddamn over. He's responsible for anything that goes wrong, but he's not responsible for anything that objectively goes right and is basically unimpeachable. We've been seeing this for, almost a decade now. You think it's going to stop? Doubtful. Press X to doubt. That's about all. Peace out.